Okay, welcome back to my electronics place. I haven't been on for a while because late summer here in Calgary was really hot. Like, I mean, exceptionally hot. So down here where I live, I had to run the fan full time and that just left. Too much noise, couldn't do any really recording, so I left it off till the weather cooled down, and that actually didn't happen until almost October. Um, but then I got caught up in a lot of work and my month-long December holiday when it hit, I'm afraid I got caught up in Baldur's Gate 3. That is one convoluted game. So many different storylines, so many different ways of doing things. But I do have a bit of mail I've been leaving in the bin, not unlooked. I do have a couple of topics I want to talk about on troubleshooting that left me quite baffled for a while at work. But they're quite interesting because they're a chain of red herrings that led me complete afield of what the real problem was, and it was tricky to diagnose. So, in the next couple of videos, I'll talk about the two of them. Also, Visual Studio Code has had some interesting updates in the last couple of months, including the use of profiles. I'll have to show you about this, and I think I'll do it after the mail call. So let's get on with some mail. Reach into the old bin here. Some of these things I have no idea what I ordered because they've been in the bin for so long. So let's find out. Nothing in the bin. There we go. Whoops. Overthrew. So what is this? Oh yeah, okay. These are kind of like the Seed Zeo whatever controllers. What did I get in here for a piece of paper? Barcode. Oh, interesting. That's a first. So, any pins? Nope. We'd have to pin them ourselves. So these, now I also modified, I have a different camera above me, and it comes with this funky remote. So let us try the new zoom. That's right, people. I can zoom without reaching above the camera and changing the lens. So this little guy here got all these nice little tiny LEDs. It's an RP2040 on the back side. You can. That's a focus thing. But you can see the RP2040, the buttons for it and everything. It's very tiny. Very cute looking. And with the LEDs. So I'll have to pin these, but these, I thought I'd try them out. I saw another one, a set of these, from actual Seed.io. So, okay, so that's in the trash. We'll keep the bag. Let's try something else in the bin. Okay. And this, really, I have no idea what it is. Motors. Oh, I remember what this might be. Motors. This is this little tripod-y thing that you can control. You put the motors on and it lets you have this little thing. So they'll, standard motors and stuff like that. So you need two motors and it gives you this little arm. Cute. I remember this now. Let's put this over there. Okay, so what do we got here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, ooh, pin pokes here. We need our knife here. Oh yeah, these VGA adapters. I remember. Basically, think of these things as like a PS2 keyboard, uh, mouse, keyboard, and a VGA, all tied into this little microcontroller. And oh yeah, and audio too. There is a micro SD card. Let's see, micro SD card. You know, these days and ages, I wonder why these guys just don't switch to USB C instead of putting USB 2.0 micros on here. The little reset. So we have here a Tigil Micro 32. This is completely. I never tried these things out before, but we'll see what happens with them later. I think Adafruit made a VGA. No, not them. Yes, them. They have that one. And I have it on my pick list from them. That does DVI HDMI basic from a microcontroller. But no, I think it was the same people who put out. It's one of their partners that sells on their website. They're in UK. They're the ones with PlatformIO, something like that, and they have one that's a VGA board too. So, what do we have in this one? Plastic container. These things I really like because they're nicely packaged all the time. So this is a T display SO3, sorry, S3 email blah blah blah. So what do we have here? It's a Lily Go with a screen on one side. Oh, that's cute. That's where you do the buttons. Now, one of the problems with this, pinning this so that you use the pins. This is going to be tricky as hell to solder. I wonder if I can take the screen off for a moment and re-glue it back on. It looks like they use some plastics glue down there. Or I could try to run this thing completely without using the pins, but they should have pinned this before they screened it. And I wonder if they put the. I think they might have put the. Did they put the pins in? Yes, they did. Oh, man. I mean, holy crap, this would be tricky. So this is what we're trying to solder there. Wow. This will be quite the job to do correctly. I'm still tempted to see if I can take the screen off for a moment. Well, or lift it on one side, then the other side. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay. I think I remember what these are. These are actually proximity radar sensors. Yeah, that's true. Normally when you enter a room, or you go in front of those automated doors or anything like that, they're all done by infrared. So there's usually an infrared beam going really rapidly in front of the door or something like that, or a beam across the thing. It's a number of different ways. And you break the beam and it detects that you've broken it. And these, on the other hand, apparently send out a particular frequency very similar to what a radar does. So you have a cable kit here and stuff for pinning, and then you do. I was kind of curious about these. So this is like the radar pads right there. I don't exactly know how they work. All I've done is heard about these, that they're like an alternate to doing the IR brake beam stuff. And then they go together with, I believe, this. Get the staple out. Here we go. So they go together with this. I think what happens is you cable this with the cable kit, which is in the other bag. And then you run them against this. Although I don't see you needing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins. And this is got... Okay, so what does it say on here? 5 volts, ground, something. And this one is 3.3 volts, 3.3 volts, ground. So it's like a double 5 ground, double 3 ground, and then this one here, ground received, transmit, 3.5, RTS, and CTS. So flow control. Sounds like a serial chips on here by some nature. It is actually. It's a generic CH340E USB to serial. So this is not I2C or SPI. I don't think anything like that. So, but they go together with this. This is, I think, one set I got, and I got a different one in here. So now, just one sec. I need a container to put all the loot in. One loot container. Let's put our loot in here. I feel like I'm in a D&D session here. All the fat loots I must collect. There we go. I'll just put it over here. I'm not a coffee drinker, so tea is my poison. Okay, so what do we got here? Oh yeah, this was for a personal thing. Open this guy up. If I remember correctly, yeah. It had something in there that was kind of interesting as far as nail clippers go. It was an angled nail clipper. So there's the usual straight one you can buy at any drugstore, but this one had an angled one so that you can go from an angle. Interesting. I wanted to try it out. There was also, I didn't get it in this set, but I was thinking there was another set I saw on Alley that had the, it almost looked like side cutters, but they're designed to help you get around those curves on your nails. Not quite electronics. Let's dig around in here. There's a really big one with weight to it. Oh, oh yes, a different crimper. So another tool for the tool bin. And then the containers in here. Okay, now let's open this one up. these guys. Oh, wow, even more wrapping. Huh. Let's put them the correct way. So, if you happen to have, and let me find one. I should have some around here. No, they're up here. Let me pull one out here. Let's see if I can find one in here. Nope. Sure, I have one floating around here somewhere. Here's one. Okay. The idea of this, let's say you have something like this. Well, you can find the right one, you can crimp it onto a wire, and they will plug into here really nicely. So when you screw them down, you don't get a flaky connection or anything like that. And then this, of course, is the tool to actually do the crimping. I wonder how you keep this lock. Oh, there's the lock key. Well, that's interesting. Wow, that's great. How do you actually keep these things closed? There's an adjustment on it. Oh, that's funky. Okay. Well, that didn't work very well. I can see what it's supposed to do. Bad design. There's a little lever in here that won't stay where it's supposed to stay. Try something a little safer. Nope. That's dumb. The latch doesn't lock. Okay. Tool goes in the thing, but it's a stupid tool. Bits look okay, but the tool is not very good. That's going to puzzle me for a while. Okay. What else we got in the bin? Three more items. Okay, let's do this one. Ooh, I haven't even cracked the seal on this one. There we go. Ah. It's quite the mailing package, that one. It's all like metallicized plastic. Okay. Oh, this. I was curious about one of these. So this is, you almost need a board for it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16 by 50. I've been looking for quite a while for a panel that's like, where's that bin of them? These. So this is addressable LEDs in a grid, 8 by 8. I've been actually looking for a 16 by 16 version of it, but I can't find it. This guy here is a lot like its smaller LED brethren, the digits, like they're like 5 across by 8 down or so, and they do the digital, and these pins back here. Usually, what happens in these things, they're either a common anode and all the cathodes are broken out, or it's common cathodes and all the anodes are broken out, right? And these line up at the grid to help you. It's not like this set is like the X and this is the Y. No, you have to get the pin out from. But that's what this is supposed to be. I was curious about this particular device. So, okay. Oops. Let's just toss that. So what's in this one? These are for batteries. They're male and female, so I got some of these devices around here that have these connectors on them for batteries. Either this, right? So I just want to get some pre-done ones. That's all this is, really. And you can see there's female in there and there's male in there. So, kind of. Now, what's in the last one? Oh, before we throw it out, I think there's something else in here. Yep, there it is. I have Bluetooth here in the form of a Bluetooth 4 or 3 dongle. This is supposedly Bluetooth 5. Now, I just found out recently that we're up to like 5.3. This is a 5.0 dongle. This one is a 5.0, and this is a 5.1 dongle. Now, one thing about Linux is there's an issue with that. I had this at work. I don't really need this film packaging for this. This is supposedly not working in Linux. I'm not 100% sure about this because I only had one 5.0 dongle. So if we go and look at here, let's see what happened when we plugged it in. It is recognizing it. The 5.1 one. Okay. What happens when we put the 5, 0 in? Same thing. Interesting. The top one is 12, 12. ID product 1, BC device 88.9. They're effectively the same device. Yeah, it's a frickin' stamping lie on them. Whether these even 5 or not is unknown. Someone just stamped 5 on it and said, oh, yeah, yeah. You can see even on here, right? It's exactly the same as the upper one. So effectively, these are both identical. I'll have to mess with them a little bit, but it sounds like these are your basic clone ripoffs that are not even done properly. I'll just throw them up there. And we can put those in there. So, well, our bag is empty. I don't think there's anything more in here. Nope. That is it for mail. Now, I mentioned that the Visual Studio Code has had some changes. So I've been messing with that over the last couple of weeks. And if we go to this one, yes. Okay, so the big thing that in Visual Studio introduced, now this is version about 185, about 182, 183, something like that. They introduced profiles. One of the issues when you want to make this a multi-development platform, so you want to develop for, let's say, C, Python, CircuitPython, the ESP IDF from Expressive, PlatformIO for Arduino, and a whole lot of other controllers. They don't all like each other. They complain. So what you can do here is you start off and you set up the basics of the packages you want. So you install the things you need, and I'm going to just go over to Mr. Profile's default here. So you install what you need, okay? This is mainly C-oriented. This, for example, doesn't need to be on in this profile. CMake tools, dev containers, Docker, file utility, whatever. We don't need PlatformIO in default. So we can disable. This allows us to disable a bunch of stuff in here that we don't actually need. So you can see there's a bunch of stuff disabled. Now what you do is once you have your template one down, the default one, you can come up to here to profiles and you can say create a profile. Now I recommend that you do use your default as a copy to set up the next one and then turn off things in the next one that you're going to make. So you can see here I've made, oh, is it not showing? Are we too low down? Yeah, we are. Just a sec. That was a problem. See, can we see now? Oh, right. Just a sec. This is not doing what it's supposed to do. There we go. I don't know what it is in OBS, but when you capture a window of an application, sometimes the dialog boxes don't show up. So here's our profiles, and we're on default at the moment, and I've turned off a bunch that I don't need. But you can see here I have CircuitPython, I have Express IDF, and I have PlatformIO. Now, one thing I found out is it knows its profiles by the first two letters, what you name it. So this is why I called it CP space CircuitPython. So if I click that, what it does is it loads a different tree of this, but one that's designed for CircuitPython, but nothing else. So now CircuitPython is enabled. And the bar down here, you can see, doesn't have any extra buttons or anything like that at the moment. So if we go and take a device, and I think this one has CircuitPython on it, and we go and pick a USB-C cable, this pink one, for example, and I think I have to put it on, let's put it on the UART, see what happens. So we're going to go look at dmessage here. No, not UART. Let us put it on OTG. There you go. So we have a CircuitPython here. It's going to be actually the second one. So I am going, because the first one is the keypad macro thing I use for the scene changer. Okay, now if we go back to our Visual Studio, we're going to open this up. Open folder. Now I don't know if there's a workspace file. No, there isn't in here yet. So we'll say open. Now down here, we should be getting a control board, and we're not. So I suspect that I haven't been on here in a very, very, very long time. So let us close this, and I'm going to just reset this. So the CircuitPython for these are sitting on the Python download page for CircuitPython, the firmware. So if we go here, yeah. So if we go to downloads. Now this is a Lowland. So if we search here, there's all our Lowlands. What we're after is this one right here. This is this board. So we're going to download it. I'll just download the UF2 file and I'll put it in our controller thing. So work, and I will come back here. And we're going to put it in controllers. And I believe I have Lowland already in here. ESP 16 R8. I believe that's this one. So we'll save it here. And then over here in our file explorer, we're going to just dismount this for a sec. And if I remember correctly, where's our ground reset? Let's try 2 resets. Nope. Nope, still getting the CircuitPy. Getting these into its drive, the other side of it is tricky as hell. Nope. So reset, boot, release, reset. Nope. There's a light on here. Sometimes you have to observe it, see if it goes purple. Buttons are so tiny on this thing. Let's try another way. Holding down this button and plugging it in, and then releasing it. This is annoying when it does this. She can't get into this stupid thing. Let's not do this board. This is a painful board to deal with. I'm going to just pull a standard Pico out of here. This is a Wi-Fi Pico I have. This guy right here. And we will put this one on. I can't remember if this has CircuitPython or not. Let's find out. There we go. We are in the mode we need to be. So let's go back to here. And we're going to just go get the Raspberry Pi downloads. So we need this guy right here. Pico W. Download UF2. Put it in. This is that problem with the... you're not seeing my dialog box. Okay, Pico CircuitPython. And... so in the file manager, we'll open this up. And we will go get that. Controllers. Work. Controllers. Raspberry Pi Pico CircuitPython. And Pico in there's the one we want. Copy. We go over here and we paste. This should be a brand new one. And of course, there it goes. So here's a brand new one. By the way, this is new. If anything has Wi-Fi on it, this is the replacement of Secrets. What they used to use to hold the Wi-Fi credentials. I believe other controllers now from other people are also using the same thing, the same settings.toml. Yeah. I don't know what the TO stands, but the ML is markup language. So it's like YAML and XML, extended markup language, HTML, hypertext markup language, YAML, yet another markup language. Yes, there are many markup languages, and this is another version of it. But specifically designed, I think, just to put settings and stuff in the file. Now, I don't think this one has really any entries in it. That's what I thought. It was like completely empty. So, now that I got CircuitPython on here, now we can use it as a sample thing. We do not need Dolphin anymore, but let's just put it not on that subdirectory. So back to here, open the folder again, open this one. As you can see, there's nothing in here yet. So we open, and then the CircuitPython extension will write some files out into this directory. Oh, not the default one, won't. William, close folder. So change this to profile CircuitPython. Then this, then this, then this, then do an open. There we go. No, it keeps flipping back. That's dumb. Let's go back. There we go. It's putting stuff in here. Mainly the VSCode directory with the settings JSON. Now, one thing you should do right away, of course, is choose a board. So let's go find our Pico in here. Raspberry Pi Pico W. That just simply sets these parameters down here. So now usually what I do at this stage of the game is I write out a workspace file for it also. Because it kind of half overrides, and I usually go like RPI Pico W .code workspace. That sounds good. And I make sure I'm in the CircuitPy directory, not that library directory. There we go. You see it shows up here. Rescans. If you look at this one has more stuff in it. Pylance and stuff like that. Now, sometimes when you do things in here, you're going to get Pylance problems. You need to probably eventually make a .pylance RC file and override some of the stupid parameters that Pylance has. Now, a guy at work says, I shouldn't be doing that. They're there for a reason. Yeah, well, I don't like them. Especially the stupid one that was, you have one extra line, blah, 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 in your Python file. So if we open code.python, there's nothing in there. If we go get a Blink program, let's see if I got one in my notepad here. Blink example. No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, this one should do. Yep. Let's put it in here. And we are blinking. See? If you want to make sure I'm actually blinking, I can change the blink right here. Let's go like this. There you go. 1.5 seconds sleep time now on the false side. There you go. So that's like the profile for Python now. Now, if I wanted to change this over to Arduino, for example, and I don't even think I have one here. I do probably somewhere. Arduino look-alike, but it's not actually. We need an atmel. Trinky atmel. Atmel. No, not a Metro Mini. Right idea, wrong one. Just we want plain Arduino. You know, I wish I could say that word correctly. So let's look in our bin here. Aha. I think this will do the trick. That one. Oh, yeah, yeah. I forgot. I do have those. So this is one of these updated Arduino Nanos. And if I can barely read the text on this, Mega 32B. Okay. So first, now on CircuitPython, always remember, shut things down properly. Otherwise, you'll screw up the file system on the thing. It'll be very subtle. You just can't yank them. So we'll save the workspace by closing it. Then we'll go back to File Manager and we will safely close the CircuitPython. Safely remove. Okay. Now this one. And this is no good. We need USB-C. Now I do have no idea what happens when I'm going to plug this on, but we're going to find out. So we have it on. Okay, so if we go to our console here for a sec, and we just do a D-message. Okay, we have TTY USB 0. We have the UART, well, blah, blah, blah. I haven't programmed one of these in a long time, so let's find out. Now, let's change our profile over to PlatformIO. See, now we have, okay, now we have this, and its version of the modules are requiring a reload. It keeps, I think once you start the profiles in here, you end up with literally separate trees of extensions. And the extensions themselves have to be updated on a per profile basis. It's not globally done. So let's say you have this autoconf in all your profiles, but you now actually have, in my case, 4 autoconfs. And they have to be updated, each one individually, depending which profile you're in. Okay. Okay, so PlatformIO. So what we want is the little house at the bottom. These are the release notes. So we go here. And we'll just import our Arduino project. Okay, so Arduino, Blink. We've done this before over here. So there we go, import. Oh, we have to select the board first. Okay, board. We're looking for Arduino Nano at Mega. Now, they say this gets tricky. $328. Yes, invest in a big magnifying glass. It definitely helps. So we need a 328. 328, 328 new bootloader. I don't know which one we're going to be using, so let's find out. Okay, let's see. Where's our code? The source. Okay, so this is the thing that controls all the boards. I haven't been in here quite a while, so here's our Blink program for a Nano. Well, for any Arduino, basically. So first of all, at the bottom now, we need to select a board. I think there's a place for that. Serial monitor, auto. Um, USB 0. Okay. We're going to take this one here. Okay, let's build this. We're not building. Okay, just a sec. Why not? Apparently I have a broken PlatformIO at the moment. Don't know why. I should be in effectively compiling ls cd into the source. Yeah, there's no make file. It's not working right. I should be building. I'm going to have a look at this. I haven't done this in like almost a year. Played with the Arduino side. But clicking this is not doing anything. So why, I don't know. Let's just see here. Did we get any? Well, TTY USB 0. Interesting. Let's try the new bootloader one. Okay. Well, there is a Blink program on this thing, but it's not compiling anything. I wonder if I might have to reinstall PlatformIO. We can do that right now, actually. So, file, close folder. And okay, so extensions. Let's find PlatformIO in here. Just uninstall it. Reload required. So now we don't have PlatformIO installed. And I'm just going to double check. Go away. I'm just going to check its folder in. No, let's do command prompt. It's easier. C.VSCode. Media extensions. PlatformIO in here. MNO, yeah, it is. RM minus RF plat. Yeah. So, and then we'll just restart Visual Studio Code because just make sure of that. Okay, start again. Extensions, platform, install, clean edition of it. Okay, so we should be at the current version. Okay. Okay. So what we want to do is, I guess, open the code again. I thought I closed the editor. Close the folder. There we go. Open folder. And it's going to be projects, Arduino, link, open. Okay, so take the first one, take the USB. Well, that's strange. Why won't it build? What are we missing? C, C++, C extensions. Wow, this turned out to be a bad demo because it doesn't work. Well, we know we have the thing. Let's start a new project. Clean. Actually, where the heck did I create that other one? I think it's work PlatformIO. If I remember correctly, yes. Projects, Arduino. So I already have them all in here. Blink. PlatformIO. Oh, that's strange. It's all there, but it's not compiling. Clicking the buttons does nothing anymore. Hmm. Nothing's actually working. Clean, full clean, devices. I click everything in here and it doesn't work. Let me just restart this again and try again. There we go, finally. Okay. Now you notice there was something in PlatformIO I didn't need. And we need to go here. I don't need the CMake stuff. So let's find it in here. We don't need CMake. There we go. So I shouldn't get a whine about CMake not being there anymore. Let's open our code again. Just make sure. I'll trash can it to make sure. There we go. And I'll build it again. Now that our building is working again. Now let's upload it. Doesn't like something. This could have the new bootloader in it. So let's change this to new. So it uses the new one. We'll trash can it again. And we'll build it again. Yeah, there we go. So this particular one has the new bootloader. The one with the USB 2.0 microcontroller header on it probably has the old bootloader on it. But there you go. On this profile, we now have. Is there a reload required? Oh yeah, probably because of the CMake tools. It doesn't matter. We have an isolated environment just for PlatformIO now. So no CircuitPython, just PlatformIO. And we could do this again, and I have set it up again for the ESP IDF. So if we go File and we close the folder, and we go here and we pick Expressive, now the icon changes there. So if we have an Expressive, I do have one. So we have here the stock Expressive. Take it out. This is their dev kit. So we don't need this anymore. Now, unlike the CircuitPython, you can pull this off anytime you want. Now, this one, we want the lower this. So there's two of these things. Doink, doink. We want this one. And in our case, we need this guy here, the USB tool. Again, I wish Expressive would just... I can't remember the CircuitPython on here at the moment. No, I don't think there is. I think what's on here is... So... What we need to do... I'm just going to restart this again. Well, I suppose always restart this thing. So first of all, we need to see this. Okay. Now, we have all these buttons at the bottom. So first off, we want to do is change this. Just let me reboot this again. If we look at dmessage, ACM1 is what we're looking for. Okay. We're not on. Why is this also buggered up? This is not good. It's not supposed to be buggered up. At least PlatformIO is working. This one definitely uses CMake. We don't need the tools. We just... Okay, I don't think I had to do anything. I think I had this working before. I think I have to open a project first. Let me just do that right now. Open folder, project, ESP32. No, not that one. ESP IDF projects. There we go. So this happens to be, if I remember correctly, it's a N8R8. So we need the N8R8 right there. And this, and we'll open. There we go. Now all this blue is because of a problem in this file here. I think it's this one. No. Settings. No, tag parser is there. That's good. Let's go downstairs here and select the correct one. CMI. Blink. Blink. And we're going to do the programming via, we are on USB. So we're going to use the USB JTAG. Okay. Okay. That should set all that up. Let's go back, and I don't think we need our settings anymore, or that one. So we still have the LED strip.h. Okay, so this problem is, how did I fix this before? It has to do with paths to where everything is. And that is usually done in, is it this one? No. In the CCP properties, this one. It's somewhere in there that the error occurs. It's not critical. I can fix it. I have the fix on my VM. It's just adding one line in here for path finding. I could look it up too, but it's... Oh, it might have fixed itself finally. There we go. No problems now. So let's trash can this. That just makes sure that we don't have any objects and stuff. So let's do a build on this and see what happens. Yeah, I can't believe we do like 948 lines of code here. Let's see if we can upload it. Okay, our problem here is maybe not. No, we have the OpenSCD running. By the way, this is a real pain to get going. I found out that you actually have to apt install OpenOCD, and you also have to apt install Ninja. And then on the Python side, because this environment uses Python, you have to install the Ninja also over there as an extension. So did we actually flash? Okay, I don't think we actually flashed. Let's try again to flash the device. Okay, I think we flashed this time. So we do have a blinking light on the thing. So let's change the blink rate. Or let's change the blink color. Let's change it. So if we go here, luckily when you build this project after you do a change like that, it doesn't require full recycling of the code. It's fairly fast. Can't tell. Did I change the color or not? Feels like I'm not changing the color. Am I sure do I have that on GPIO or do I have that on that LED thing? That's where this little sprocket is down here. So what you do is you can actually enter the controller. Here we go. And we search for LED. So we are on RMT LED. Okay. Now the trick here too is on this particular one, it's on pin 48. So we need to check here for that. So we are on 48. That's good. So let's change the color again. I'll just put a 0 in here. Let's rebuild it from scratch. There we go. And build again. And I should definitely have a different color on here. Okay, we'll send the code off to it. And see what happens. Yep, there we go. Now it's blue. Okay. So I've demonstrated 3 different environments, although we had a little finicky with PlatformIO being not working correctly. But everything is now working. So we can switch between development environments and be on different controllers. So we've done CircuitPython, we've done Arduino, and we've done ESP-IDF or Expressive. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll have the generics, and we can keep adding more platforms. So we could go and say create another one for I don't know. If I was a JavaScript compiler programmer, I could put Java in there. But I'm not. So, but we could put generic Python in. We can go to the generic one and just load Python. So I thought this was a neat feature of that they finally added to this to have different templates of environments that you could be using. So we don't need this page anymore. Yeah, it can go away. So I've shown you this before. This is a generic. You can actually go in here, and if you hit your F1 key and you say show example projects, and you can actually see a ton of projects. So all sorts of stuff you can build with this controller. Now, that other one I was trying to get CircuitPython, this guy here. This is also an ESP32S3. It is actually the N16R8. So it's got twice as much storage as this one, but same amount of memory. So I believe the R8 is the memory and the N16 is the storage. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But this guy came in 2 form factors. Where did I put those boards? Here they are. Here? Yes, here. Okay. So we have this variant of the board, 2 connectors, I2C, that sort of thing. But there is also this other variant from Lowland, this one. Now this one, it's basically almost identical to this one, except for what the pinning is. This is also a N16R8. So this one actually has micro SD card, I2C, battery, and this guy here is a port for driving an LCD. Not your laptop type LCD, but smaller little panels. So, and I have the cable now for and the plug to wire one up. I just haven't done it yet. So in theory, you could plug this in here into the ESP, run the code for I2C OLED or the RGB panel. These guys right here, and you could actually control it in theory. Right? I haven't tried it out myself yet. Because I'm not sure which on the display here. It says on the back here, TS underscore CS is 45, TFT, TFT, TFT. You can see it's all labeled on the back. They actually do a really good job of labeling on the back of these things. The only problem is I wish the labeling was on the front. This is as bad as this one. You're looking at this and you're trying to figure out which pin is which one. Well, they're all on the back right there. You can see it. This one, on the other hand, is all on the surface. It's not on the bottom. And this guy here, same issue. They're all on the bottom, but they're not on the top. This is where you need those little cards that like Adafruit's putting out for different ones, where you can actually, I have to find the tool that does it, but they created a tool where you plug in, like in type a spreadsheet, all the pins, each side, whatever, like say for this controller, and it generates the little card like this. Let me find you one. I know I have extras in here. There they go. So for example, this is LilyGo's card for their RISC, but this was built by Adafruit, and they actually have the tool to build this. So you can actually put a picture, get a picture from the net of the thing, and you can actually build all this and make one of these cards. And on the back side of these things, they tell you how to get started on it, for example. Usually in CircuitPython mode. But yeah, I wish every controller that came out would have these little reference cards come with it. So, I mean, I have different ones here. Oh, actually, I have 4 of them here. This is for the C3s. No, are they actually the same ones? Yeah, they are. But you guys get the idea. And then you could just run them off your printer. Except for me, my poor crusty old LaserJet LaserJet 2030, I think it is. I mean, circa 2005. Only prints black and white. Yep, sucks to be me. I only have a black and white. So. Oh, and this guy here is Lowland's idea of a, I think it's Lowland's RPE 2040. So, I mean, Pico. But it doesn't belong in there. Picos don't belong in there. Picos belong in the Pico bin. There we go. So I hope this, if you have any questions about setting some of this stuff in more detail, I can redo some of the videos I did where I set this up. But it's gotten a lot easier to set up. Like the Expressive IDF is really straightforward. You just run their, you install the plugin, and then right on the page they tell you to, you do the F1 and just go to this tool, and the tool walks you through all the parts it needs. Right? PlatformIO is straightforward now. Even CircuitPython, most of it is pretty clean. I still wish the guy would not hard code the build versions. Like because the Adafruit updates the public libraries or whatever for all the CircuitPython, and they date timestamp it. So they'll say something to the effect like 2023, 12, 15, for example. And then when it changes on the 17th, your lines in your settings are still 15, right? And sometimes I have to still go in there and correct the lines. The other one I want, and I think someone else posted this in the GitHub, was we should have a button in CircuitPython to rebuild the stubs in the boards folders. So occasionally when new boards come out, right, but CircuitPython itself, the plugin, hasn't updated, you need to rebuild the boards and stubs stuff. And I have a whole video on that talking about how to do that. It's really straightforward. I mean, the only thing I do in the whole thing really now, because whoever's being maintained has actually cleaned up the build script really well. They just RM out for some reason the stub called board file. Let's just close this up before I destroy it. And if I go back to CircuitPython, and we'll just take this one off, and we'll put this one back on again. Okay, and I'll just look at there it is. So we will open workspace this time from file. We created one for this guy. Just open it. So this little import right there it's a stub that's created. And this is that bundle thing. Whoops, you're not even seeing this. Here's the board thing, and here's the bundle. As you can see, 1224, right? Yesterday. But sometimes, as I said, you go into here and this bundle line here, see how it says 1224 in it? Doesn't update. As I said, I just wish this path here is that he would reference, let's say, bundle, some soft link, current, for example, and have somehow, instead of hard-coded dates in here in this part here, sometimes you just say /current/lib or something like that, right? And it figures it out. But no, he doesn't have that yet. So that results, and this place really needs a board and stub rebuilder. There's another flaw too, and I found this out just recently. These guys here, when you plug them in, different models of these, right? So I have, for example, this is the N8R8. If I plug in the N32R8V, which is a bigger one, the stupid product ID and the stupid vendor ID are identical. So when you go to boards to pick a board here, right? If you were to go here and you were to search for ESP, this doesn't show up sometimes. Whoops, you can't even see this, sorry. So when you're doing the board picking with these Expressive with CircuitPython, and they have the same vendor ID and same product ID, this doesn't sometimes, you get this one, but you don't get this one. Or you get the N8R8, but you don't get the N32R8. but technically they're in the list. But the problem is these two, this one, the N8R8, they both have identical codes for them, so you can't tell them apart. That was bad. Now I'm not sure in if these. I know that on the firmware that CircuitPython puts out to identify things, right? At least on Adafruit's board, they could pick the vendor ID and the product ID. So ideally your vendor IDs should be, you know, whatever Adafruit is, right? One number, always the same, right? It's the product ID that changes, right? This thing right here, 8120, right? So we know that 239A, for example, is actually the vendor, Raspberry Pi. That's why you can plug this in, for example, and without the Wi-Fi, and you still get 239A on the first one, but you won't get 8120 on the other board. So it's annoying that this is a problem with the thing. I always thought that the USB vendor and product ID would be unique between different products, but not on these ESPs, which is not a very good idea. So I'm going to just close this off because I don't need it anymore. Close workspace. And I can... No. Dismount. Dismount, William. Practice, Mr. Dismount. There we go. Safely remove. There we go. So I hope mail was fine and this was fine. I'll try to do some more vids. Now that's the winter time, it's a lot cooler down here and stuff like this to do. I do have some other build projects I want to do too. There's me sitting here on the bin kits that I wanted to assemble that I just haven't assembled yet. So I'll let you go for the moment. Bye-bye.